Hi guys, so today I am back to share my experience with my second quantum healing hypnosis therapy session. My first session that I had was a year ago, and I recently just had another session last week. And it was actually just I didn't pay for this session because it was an exchange with another practitioner, because I am now a beyond quantum healing practitioner. So I've been reaching out to other practitioners just to get practice in and to swap sessions. So basically what happened was I went to meet with the practitioner, and we went through the whole process. And I'll say that this time around, I was able to go a lot deeper, and it happened very quickly. So before I get into it, I just want to say that the last few times that I did any type of healing work lately, it seems like the theme has been healing my inner child. So I thought I was done with that after my shrooms journey, but apparently I'm not. I'm still doing some healing for my inner child. But yeah, so going into the session, I'm going into the hypnosis, and whenever the practitioner brings you into, is like bringing you into the past life that you're going to experience, they bring you in on this a cloud for their script. So this cloud is like holding you, keeping you safe. You're like wrapped up in this soft, fluffy cloud, right? So while I was in the cloud, I just started like crying, and this is before I even get into the past life. I'm just like crying a lot. And she's trying to like get me to get off the cloud and go into this life. And I'm like, I don't want to get off the cloud. Like, it feels safe. It's holding me. It's protecting me. Like, I need to stay on the cloud. And I was just like, I started crying even harder. Like, I was boo-hooing. So, like my conscious mind is just like, well, she just leave me alone and let me have this experience, because I knew that it was like a part of my healing. But she didn't know that. She only let me stay there for like just a minute, because she tried to get me to get off again, and I refused. So after that, she took me into like this meditation just to get me to calm down. So I ended up calming down, and then after that, I was like fine to go into my past life. But before I go any further, I just want to say, like, that has also been a theme for me. So taking it back to earlier this year when I did San Pedro, even before I even went on that trip to do the plant medicines, I had did like a yoni steam before I went to Florida to do San Pedro. And when I did my yoni steam, like, I did some healing and releasing then the day before I left. And I kept feeling like, I was just like, I need to be held. And I didn't particularly know like why or exactly what the feeling was, but I just knew that I needed to be held. So even when I went into my San Pedro experience, which I have a video on that if you haven't seen it, when I first got into my experience, like, I had to use the bathroom, and I had to like throw up, right? So right after I threw up, like, I was in such discomfort that I had wrapped my towel around me, because I was at the beach. I wrapped my towel around me so that I could feel like I was being held, like I was just like self-soothing. And even after that, like a day after I did San Pedro, I ended up doing shrooms. And at the beginning of my shrooms journey, I felt like I was like being held and hugged, and I was being told that I am loved and all this other stuff. I also have a video on that as well. But as you can see, like that's been a theme for me. So now I know, I can clearly see that the needing to be held is all a part of my healing my inner child. And at first I didn't know that. I just knew like I needed to be held, but I didn't know what part of my healing that was for. But now I do know. So moving back into the hypnosis session, so I calmed down and everything after she took me through like this short guided meditation, and I finally had went into this life. So in this life, during this session, I learned a lot about myself. So in this life, I ended up being like this cowboy named Marty. At the beginning of it, like he had, the only person that I saw him around, like he had a daughter, a little girl, and then every scene after that, he was just like alone. He was alone. His life was so dull. It was very dull. And he was just like lonely as hell. And it was sad. Like it bothered me. It was so sad. So, another thing that has been a theme for me is me needing to be more social. And I knew that I did, but for a while, it's like I've been I was resisting it for a long time. But as of lately, like I became more open to just being able to meet new people and just being more social. So, all right, so moving forward, like the session itself, it didn't, well, not the session, but the that past life itself, it didn't like really last too long, because it was just like he wasn't doing much. He was just lonely, and it was just sad. So he ended up dying at like around 50. Like he wasn't even old. He died, and he died alone on his property, and that was just the end of that. So she took me into another life after that, and I was being shown like myself in the future. And it was just like me being a lot more social, doing things, going places with other adult humans, and just having a good time. And like that life that I was shown, it wasn't too long, because it was very straight to the point, and there wasn't like too much to explore. So after that, I'm trying to think, it was like, even when I was in the experience, it was kind of like my higher self just couldn't wait to like come through and start talking. I got some questions answered, and then I just received like insight from my higher self, of course. And I'll say that I did a lot of healing, even though everything seemed like kind of brief. I'll say I did a lot of healing during that session. And even before, like when we were in like the interviewing process, me and the practitioner, like we were discussing like a scenario that occurred between myself and another practitioner that I met with. And I learned that even though this is something I thought I got better at, I have a lot more work to do with setting boundaries with people. And the scenario that happened between me and the other practitioner, like it wasn't even anything hostile. It wasn't anything like crazy. It was just like, she basically wasn't respecting my time. And it was like, I don't know, she just had a lot going on. But for me, it was like I was just focused on gaining the experience and, meeting new people. But now that I look in on it, like I'm not even willing to move forward with, doing anything else with her, because of like the first time, it just it rubbed me the wrong way. And I was able to get more insight on it and realize like she was like overstepping boundaries. Like, she wasn't even rude or anything, but it was just the way everything went. I just didn't agree with it. And I was just trying to be so understanding because of her situation and her scenario. But I'm tired of bending and over extending myself for other people, and they are not reciprocating. So I will admit that I do have I do have to work on setting boundaries with people, and I also have to work on respecting my own boundaries, because I've had recent issues with that. So me taking accountability, I'll admit that I do have to work on that myself with my own boundaries, and also just being firm with my boundaries with other people. Um, so I got insight on that. There's some inner child healing, a lot of it. And I'm trying to think. Okay, so after my session was done, like, I had drove like an hour and a half. I had to drive an hour and a half back home because the practitioner stayed that far away. So later that day, I just felt very like exhausted, and I felt very uneasy, to the point where like I felt like I needed to distract myself, because there was like just so much going on, and so much, not even so much going on, but so much that I needed to process, and just a lot of integrating to do. So I'll say that that night, when I went to sleep, I actually ended up doing more inner child healing, and I learned more during that process as well. In my dreams, I was doing like some more inner child healing, and I went back to like some times in my childhood where like things had occurred, and it's so messed up, because I literally realized after that, like that next day when I woke up, I'm like, dang, I've been through a lot of things as a child that I had to like deal with on my own emotionally, and I just had to like be there for myself. And that's like messed up, because I didn't feel safe. Well, let's not say safe. I didn't feel comfortable with going to my mom for these things. For the simple fact that like my mom, she wasn't emotionally available. And not only that, for other things, it was just like, if I did tell her X, Y, and Z, I had the fear of her going and telling other people in my family. So it was like I didn't feel, I guess you can't say safe or comfortable going to her for certain things. So I dealt with a lot of things on my own. And that is why I had a lot of healing to do. I'm just trying to think if there is anything else. Oh, so since then, I'll say that I feel a lot better. I feel a lot lighter. My mind is much more at ease. And I'll say that ever since like that healing occurred, like so many things have been just slowly, quickly just falling into place. And I'll say that the universe has a very interesting sense of humor. The way that things occur, the way that things are presented, the synchronicities, crazy. But overall, like, I'm enjoying this journey. It is not easy to go on this healing journey, and do all that work, that emotional healing, that inner child healing. Like, it can be a tough process, but once you get through it into that other side, like, it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. And I'm grateful that I am now able to just receive the benefits of doing that healing work. It's so worth it. And I'm just grateful for how things are falling into place. And I also no longer have resistance around meeting other people, meeting new people and having like new experiences. So I'm extremely grateful for that that experience. And I will say that right after I had my session, I felt so uneasy that I was just like, oh, I don't even want to go under hypnosis anymore. It was just a lot. But now that I've gotten to that other side of it, I'm like, I can go back in for some more sessions, if necessary. Like, it would actually be fun to me. But in that moment, because I was resisting like everything that I experienced in that moment, it was just like I just felt like I just didn't want to do it anymore. It was a lot. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And thank you so much for watching. And if you yourself are thinking of having a hypnosis session, I say go for it. Like, there's so many different types of hypnosis practitioners and hypnosis methods. The only two that I'm familiar with is the Beyond Quantum Healing and the Quantum Healing Hypnosis Therapy, which is QHHT. So if you're thinking about having one, I say go for it. You're able to search for locals in your area on their websites. You just Google QHHT or BQH, and if you you can decide on which practitioner feels best to you, because everybody is different and they come with a different energy. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But thank you again for watching and have a beautiful day.